One, two, three, four. Dang, man. So, like, when do you have time for yourself?
So essentially, I don't. I don't. This is how my day goes. Not that everybody is interested in this at all, but I wake up and I get ready and I go go to work.
Yeah.
I usually come home by 6 o'clock, maybe a little bit earlier at times. I'm the designated cook for dinner. I've been cooking dinner for
Oh,
really as long as I remember. And this is something that I do.
you cooked dinner when I was living with you too.
Yeah. At some point, I mean, I enjoyed cooking, right? So I would cook. At some point, it just became my job, and so I kind of regret cooking so much. But
You know why? Because you're a good cook. And so like, oh, okay, he's good and he likes doing it, I guess. So I just won't say anything and I'll just eat.
so that's how my wife will actually tell people why I cook. But I feel like I have no choice because she doesn't cook. And I come home and I'm like, nothing's there, so I have to cook. In any case, um, yeah, I actually that's one way to actually kind of get rid of my stress. Oh, one second. So yeah, so one thing that I actually kind of do is I cook and I watch a lot of. I'm sure you know Baek Jong-won, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I subscribe to his channel and I pretty much cook, things that he actually puts out there, and so it's
Ooh.
mostly Korean,
Yeah, yeah.
and I improvise. I don't my cooking is not like traditional, right? I cook whatever is in the refrigerator,
Uh-huh.
and so whatever is left over, I try to like improvise a little bit, and that's how I like sort of de sort of compressed, or that's how I get rid of my stress. The bad thing about it is a lot of times you get to eat when you cook. I'm like, that's, I would gain a lot of weight from that. So nowadays I try to eat a lot less, but I still cook. And then after that point, I did the dishes. And it's about 7 o'clock. My younger one goes upstairs and she sleeps, and I'm left, with her. And that's where we actually are supposed to actually study. She has homework. I have to do homework with her. And
Oh.
and then and then after that, we exercise a little bit together, and then we go to bed. That's my day. I don't really have
Dang.
actually time for myself, except for some cooking, and for the weekend too. Like similar things, I like to cook things. We go out and we sometimes go to the park, but there's
Yeah.
really nothing for me. But I've learned to live like that for so many years now. So I'm somewhat okay with that. But I'm hoping, and you're kind of getting there too. So I'm hoping that at some point I'll have some amount of time myself.
All right, two questions in. So number one, what's your best Baekjongwon recipe of your own? I could tell you mine first.
Okay.
Like one of the earlier ones, so he had like a lot of different programs, but when he was doing what was it like Chipap Baekseonseng or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
So I remember one episode he did like he got like a Cornish hen or like a small chicken,
Yeah, yeah,
the whole one, and then he just like kind of like cut it open and he's basically spread it out and then skin side down on a frying pan.
yeah.
You don't even have to add oil, just use the fat of the chicken itself,
Mhm.
and then like with like potatoes and garlic and whatever other like vegetables you want. And that was so good. And with this like little like soy sauce based sauce. Yeah, I tried that and that was so good. It's just like cutting like breaking down the chicken, that was just too much work.
I'll tell you what. I mean, I like his recipe. It's not necessarily like what I consider. Wow, that's my favorite. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what my favorite is. My favorite is gopchang and daechang, and you can actually make it at home.
Really?
Yes. Okay, we have an H Mart nearby in
Yeah.
Arcadia.
Yeah.
They actually do sell daechang and gopchang actually.
Yeah.
And obviously, you can't just cook it like that. You do have to somewhat
Clean it.
marinated and get it prepared. And I
Uh-huh.
obviously I buy some of the things like dog and puchu, and I kind of copy um, what is it called? Agashi gopchang style. You've been
Oh,
there before, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So basically, get some dog and puchu, and get obviously gopchang, and obviously, and then have you know, a, a burner and just like cook in front of everybody, like we just eat off from the pan.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, dang.
yeah. And then my kids actually, and I do cook a lot. My kids actually like fried chicken. I do actually make quite a bit of fried chicken.
You
Um,
fry your own chicken?
yeah, I do actually.
Like actually in oil or like an air fryer?
No, 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 actual oil, like Korean
Dang.
style, and hanban, like yangnyeom and fried.
Oh, you do the yangnyeom too?
And yeah.
Did you watch 놀면 뭐하니?
Oh, I know. I
The
haven't
new
watched it.
Yu Jae Suk show.
Oh, I mean, I have watched it, but do they actually make fried chicken there?
Yeah, a while ago, like him and Bang Myung-soo, they learned how to make fried chicken like 닭강정 style, like just
Okay.
regular and then with like yangnyeom. And then yeah,
Cornstarch is the deal. Cornstarch. It
yeah.
makes it actually kind of kangjang style, and
Uh-huh.
it becomes a lot more crispy when it gets colder. So you can make it
Oh.
that way. But if you want just like a regular fried chicken, I actually use just flour and just salt and pepper and things like
Dang. Korean fried
that. I
chicken.
should have a YouTube channel. Actually, I should have a YouTube channel.
Yo, you should. Hey, I'm just like doing whatever. Like all I'm doing is like just like, with this webcam and like Zoom and stuff. Dude, anybody could do it these days. You just do it.
I mean, it takes a lot of work to kind of like document and film everything.
I know they all have like
Crazy.
their own crew, even though it's their own YouTube
Yeah,
channel. That's
it's
cheating.
all about production. It's all about
I know
production,
production,
editing,
editing.
production.
So do you have like your own like fryer, like deep fryer, like with like
I
almost
have a
commercial grade?
wok, and then I actually put lots. Obviously,
Oh, you just
oil
do it
in
in a
there.
wok?
Like yeah, deep fry. Yeah.
Dang. Yo, I need to go visit your restaurant. It's only like 5 hours away if I drive. I
When the
could make
pandemic is over,
I could
seriously.
make a weekend trip once like everybody's like, good in terms of like COVID and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Yo, actually I'm about to do that. I'm about to make like regular weekend LA trips. And then okay, so that was number one. Number two was you said like, basically your schedule right now is it revolves around your family and your girls and
yeah.
stuff. Okay. If you had your month or if you had the time off, what would you be doing? Oh, too much to handle right now. Look at your smile.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I did when my kids and my wife actually went to Korea for about a month. I
Yeah.
actually did a lot of housework, and it sounds kind of nerdy, but I want to. There's a lot of things that I need to do.
Yeah.
I just been putting off. I want to do those things that I have to obviously do and fix.
Yeah.
Um, and I went to actually a lot of Dodgers game actually.
Uh-huh.
You know, because it just like fit my schedule. After work, I would just go watch the baseball game, and I actually went 2 times by myself, and which I actually liked it.
Yeah.
Because I would usually go with my family, but I can't really pay attention to the game. But when you go by yourself, you actually do pay attention to the game. It's actually a little bit more fun that way. If you ever get a chance, I mean, it could be any sports game. Go by yourself, and you actually enjoy a little bit more. Actually,
Yo,
you pay attention to it.
maybe some people might take you up on that. I
Yeah.
honestly, I think when I was living in SoCal, when
Mhm.
I was living in Pasadena, I used to go to the movies by myself
Yeah.
because like I think I would because remember I was going to church all the way down in Santa Ana, so that was like an hour. So
Mhm.
when I used to go down for Segokido on Saturday, and
Mhm.
then afterwards I would come back, but it would be like I don't know, it would still be early morning, like 9ish, and I would stop by. I think it was AMC, and
Mhm.
during those days, if you caught a show before noon, even for new releases, it was only like $6. So
Wow.
I would watch a movie by myself, and then I would catch a movie and then come back. And it was kind of crazy because I was like, oh, I would think like, oh, I'll have this theater all to myself. And
Yeah.
then like when I walk in, there's like one other dude by himself over there. I'm like, I don't know if he's
You
like
just have to
my.
fight that moment. You just have to fight that moment. That's all. I know it's a little awkward.
But I know like we're in the same shoes, but I don't know if like he's weird or I'm weird or we're both weird, like kind of together. But I was like, oh shoot, I need to be careful. So yeah, I mean, like I would definitely, if I could, go to like a basketball game or a baseball game by myself for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Um, I mean, I can't really. I'm one of those. I become one of those people where I enjoy little things now. I mean, back in the days, I thought I had to like travel the world to make good use of my time. But now I kind of enjoy things that. So like anything, you can just build things. It sounds weird, but I bought like 1,000 like those tongue depressor things, and then the glue gun, and I made like houses with my daughter, and I thought this is actually pretty good.
But you were still did that with your daughter though. Like
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like a
yeah.
daddy-daughter project.
But I feel like I could have done it and much like better, make it really like professional looking by myself. That sounds so sad.
Next time, you instead of helping her and doing it with her, you can have a
Yeah.
competition. All right, here are
Maybe.
your materials. Here are my materials, and then we're gonna
Yeah.
see who makes a better one.
Yeah. I mean, something like that. I think.
Yeah,
It depends. It depends. I know that you're very athletic, and you like outdoors, so hiking and things like that. You went hiking recently, so
yeah. We've been hiking like basically every week, every Saturday. My roommate and I, because like we're both trying to like be healthier, and then there's like yeah, I would love to play sports but can't right now. So the only thing we could do is like you said, go to the park or go hiking. So that's what we're doing. But we've been doing some like crazy like strenuous hikes. Like the last weekend we went because it was a long weekend, so we went Saturday and Monday, and then Saturday was killer. It was like 10 miles round trip, but elevation of like 2,700 feet, and
wow.
yeah, it was nuts. It was worth it. It was nice.
Yeah, it
That
was
was the
worth it.
picture. Oh, that was the picture that I posted, where it was
Yeah.
like all like up on top of the city, like overlooking the bay with like
Oh yeah.
the fog and like the city far off and stuff. So it was beautiful, but it
How,
was
how long
brutal.
did it take you to actually go up and then come back? Did it take like a few hours or?
Oh yeah, I think just going up it took like 4 or 5 hours,
Oh
4 hours probably. Yeah,
wow.
because like it was, I think it was basically like two hikes in one. Because
Oh,
initially it was like three like sets of like long stairs.
okay.
So we had never been here before. It was our
Uh-huh.
first time. He just was like, oh, I found this one. It was a hard trail on the website, but it seemed fun because it was like a high elevation. But
Yeah.
we didn't know when we started from the bottom, it was like some like neighborhood. It was like a rich neighborhood. And then like it was like these hillside houses, but in between there were these steps. And it was like a long flight of steps. Literally like 100, maybe over. And
Wow.
then we're like, okay, we got here. And then we had to walk a little bit on the road, and then there's another set. And that one I was just like, oh my gosh, so tired. My legs are burning.
I like how you said 천국으로 가는 계단.
천국으로 보내는 계단.
보내는 계단. That's right.
I was like, oh, seriously, I'm gonna meet my maker right now.
Yeah. I actually, I want to go hiking. I want to go hiking. I just haven't had a chance. And that's one of the activities you can still do pretty safely. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's one thing I actually want to do if I have a little bit more time. I can't just leave for like 6 hours and come back these days. So,
I know. If you're gonna go with the family, you gotta do like little
yeah.
like smaller one or something, I guess. I guess you just gotta send your, family to Korea then. Dang, man, we're getting old.
I know. I know.
All right, speaking of, then like seriously, like I look back, like you said, I look back on like college and like,
Mhm.
when we were like in Southern California, that's like, in terms of like, relative age, the prime of our lives, right? Like in our 20s and stuff.
Sure.
We like studied together, we like played together. So obviously we can't live that again. So going forward, then like what do you want your life to look like? I'm like seriously having like these like existential questions about like how I want like the rest of my life to look like. And I'm just like,
I mean, I'm, you know, I think like it's just when you are obviously by yourself, and then you're married, and then obviously you have kids, and they're small and they grow up, right? I'm
yeah.
just really hoping that I'll be healthy enough that when my kids are out of the equation for they go off to college, that I'll have some of that back. That's what I'm
Mm,
that's what I'm actually planning for, because I
uh-huh.
know we live longer because I treat my patients. And when I see patients in their 70s, they still look pretty good. They
Yeah.
travel, enjoy their lives. Obviously, when they're like in their 80s and 90s, it's a little bit more difficult. But I'm looking forward to maybe about 15 years later, where I can do a lot of things together with my wife or with my friends. I'm just really saving up for that moment, and that's why I'm like this year. I'm trying to be a little bit more healthy, so that I have something left over when it gets to that time. And that's one thing. The other thing is that you know, my life has been good, but I've been very heavily involved with my church,
Uh-huh.
and not that it's bad, but my life was just, home and church and work. It just kind of like, which is good. I think it kept me at least sane, through all this. But I want to do something like outside of that. I feel like even going back to like my college days, I think church was a big thing, which I really love. Um, but I want to find if there's something else that I can enjoy and obviously be as productive and maybe actually good for myself as well. Obviously, what I do at church is obviously good for myself as well, but trying to find maybe something other than that bubble that I have. And so that's what I'm getting. So I tell you what we do for church for the last few years, and right now is just the title. I've been actually pujang for EM, so it's like a circle, right? Remember, like it was it JB, right?
Yeah,
JB.
yeah.
JB was our pujang. So I am where he is. I thought he was real old, but I'm that guy. I feel like really old when I'm with our EM people, but um, you know, so it's been pretty busy with that. And then I've been a small group leader for the longest time, and then I kind of gave it up for last year.
Yeah.
So like every day there was some meeting for church, and you know, and so I kind of want to get away from that. Obviously, don't lose my faith, but get away from that, and then maybe seek something other than that bubble. So that's what I'm kind of looking forward to. What about yourself? I want to know what you have in mind.
No, I mean, I'm with you. Like, I think me slightly on like a macro scale of, wanting to step down from ministry full time because I really like enjoyed, like, we keep going back to like when we were like in college, we went to church together since like, high school. But like especially like during college days, during open worship days, like our
Yeah,
class, we had like a huge class, like our
yeah,
age group, and we had a lot of fun. Like,
hmm,
we were involved, but then we also like played together. That was like our circle of friends. And
hmm,
so like it was more joyful doing it voluntarily,
yeah,
and so I wanted to have that again. So that's why I needed to like figure out like what I want to do for work. And I liked teaching too, but then I couldn't really transition laterally to a teaching position.
hmm,
And we're like, I probably would need to go to school and get like a master's or something. So I was like, if I'm gonna go back to school, I'll just like go like a, you know, couple more years, and then,
Mhm.
you know, since we already like, you know, study like, you know, sciences on undergrad, and, you know, I probably delayed you from going to school earlier because during our Kaplan days, I would just like, you know, just draw on your Kaplan book while we were in the class and just write you
Why did
notes
you
and
draw a heart though? That's one thing kind of creepy. You're drawing heart.
just trying to distract you, get your attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like um now that I have the opportunity, because my weekends are free now, but I don't have like a church to attend per se for the time being since everything's online. And so I appreciate what you just said, because, you know, being able to go hiking and enjoy nature,
Yeah,
that's very like freeing. And like you also like, I always been able to actually like think about life, like taking like the
exactly.
beauty of creation, just like living life on a little bit slower pace in a
Exactly.
sense. And so I really really appreciate that. And yeah, I want to be able to enjoy everything. I want to have my cake and eat it too basically. And that might be not plausible, but I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what, you know, in my to my understanding, that's kind of like what you're trying to do too.
Yeah. And I don't want to necessarily sound kind of selfish, when I say like explore other things and maybe do things that's out of the sort of the bubble. Because obviously I still want to commit myself to being a good father and obviously and a husband and all that, and obviously my profession. But I think when I turned 40, I think something just kind of hit me and say, slow down, and then
Mm,
try to do small things to kind of at least reward yourself a bit. And that's something
yes.
that small things is very important, because big things are really hard, especially when you're with your kids, and obviously do a lot of things in this profession. But yeah, just small things, and I just kind of make it a little bit more, even extra special, by somewhat depriving it for a little bit, and then obviously kind of rewarding maybe at the end of the week, or for the end of the day. um, yeah. So obviously, people are probably wondering, what are you drinking? I'm actually drinking milk. I'm actually drinking milk. The reason I drink milk is I don't drink actually a whole lot of milk, but when I put a little bit of honey and actually warm it up a bit,
Yeah.
it's really soothing, and that's a little bit of reward for myself. I don't really drink coffee. Something about maybe caffeine doesn't agree with me, so I don't really drink anything. But something like this I enjoy, and I kind of reward myself at the end of the day, since I'm not really really eating a whole lot of obviously dinner at nighttime. And so something like this I sort of began to do when I turned 40, and I'm hoping until like 15 years later, when I'm liberated a bit more, I'll try to at least like live each day, one day at a time, and sort of like reward myself here and there. I think that's what we need. And it's kind of like, like I become like a Korean dad,
You
you
are
kind
a
of like
Korean
live,
dad.
yeah, because you kind of live your life, work really hard, and obviously live for your family, kind of thing. But I
Yeah.
think I look at my father and say, yeah, I don't think he really enjoyed like every day, and I'm trying to kind of like correct that, at least in my life. Like I want to enjoy each day, and at least feel like I'm actually sort of rewarding myself at the end of the day. So I don't know. I'm just that's one thing I've been doing, and I think I want to at least keep on doing until something changes. But yeah, I highly recommend it if you haven't been doing
No, that's deep. That's really, I really appreciate that. And then while you were describing it, you know, I was kind of processing it, because being able to appreciate the small wins, or even being able to
that.
appreciate like the small rewards.
Mhm.
And then, you know, that may be like the beginning right now, and maybe it'll continue to progress into something bigger too. Like even in terms of like overall gratitude,
Yeah,
and then it continues to build, and it may overflow onto other bigger things. I think that's really really deep. And my small reward right now is, even though I'm trying like this like healthy diet too, once a week is cheat day,
yeah,
and then or whenever I'm with people, I'm not gonna be like, oh, y'all enjoy like all this great spread. I'm gonna eat like this little salad. Now, I'm not gonna do that. Like if it's like time to celebrate, I'm gonna celebrate. Um, but yeah, I think like yeah, something about 40, right? And just like you start thinking about life and wanting to like appreciate things. But I think this may be like a part two next time we talk, but reflecting about like the Korean dad life and seemingly kind of
Mhm.
not wanting to be bitter, I guess, but
Yeah,
enjoy life, enjoy what it has to offer, slow down a little bit. For
yeah,
sure, for sure.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, one last thing I would say is like, the other thing that I obviously, I constantly get reminded, and this is probably part of your profession, my profession as well, is we see death every day. I see death, almost, every other day in terms of some of the elderly, patients I had, dying either at home or at the hospital. And, I've, for the last 6 years, I've actually at least been part of their life, and I see them going. And obviously, part of me say, hey, as Christians, we all obviously go to heaven, and that's a good thing. But another part of me is life is not necessarily short, but it could be short in that we don't know when we're going to go, when the Lord will actually call us. So if we just wait until like, hey, let me just wait until maybe I'm like 45 or 50 to enjoy, my life, I think that maybe, that's when you're going to go. And, sad to say, we just don't know when we're going to go. So, I've been seeing a little bit more death last year, and obviously part of this year. It really made me think that you really want to put a lot into each day. And not that we're not going to be here tomorrow, but you just want to really enjoy and have a very meaningful day. And that's what I've been sort of thinking, at least for now, as we are still going through the pandemic. I'm not sure if we're ever going to go through this period again, but this made me think that we're so fragile. We're so fragile. So that's why I'm really trying to take one day at a time.
Mm. Dang, so timely recording this today on the anniversary of Kobe and Gianna's death too.
Yeah, yeah.
Dang, man. Hey, so with these meetings with my friends, I always want to close.
Hmm.
And this is also like to help me practice in a sense too. I always want to close by praying for
Sure.
you.
Hmm.
So please let me know how I could pray for you. And if you're okay, I'll just pray for you, over Zoom right now too.
Yeah, yeah. Just I mean, one thing request wise, obviously we're still going through this, and if you can bless our family with health and obviously safety, um, and just really at least to feel like that each day is very meaningful and blessed. That's what I want to obviously feel for obviously the whole year and obviously the rest of my life. So if you can bless me in your prayer,
Yeah,
uh, obviously those are the two things that I want you
for sure, for sure. All right, man. We'll pray. I'll pray for you and then we close. All right.
to.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for my friend, my good friend Josh. I thank you for today, where in the midst of all the craziness that is going on in this world, that you allowed us at least a sweet time of just being able to catch up, to reminisce about our old sweet fun times, to discuss or got our current present states um, as healthcare professionals, as dads of young children, as husbands, as old farts in our middle age trying to navigate this life. But I appreciate, Lord God, my friend Josh, that you have allowed him to be in my life, that you allow me to, Lord God, just reflect as we have these discussions, and just to have a close friend and a confidant in which we could live life together. And so I ask of you today during this time and going forward that you will bless Josh, and not only Josh, Lord God, as an individual, but Lord God, him as a father, as a husband, as a friend, as a neighbor, as a brother, as a Ian Pujang or whatever other roles and titles and relationships he may be under, but especially his family, Lord God. Keep them safe, keep them healthy, keep them in your care, Lord God, that look, I know that it could be scary times to navigate, but may they also have the confidence that, they are your sheep, they are your children, they are your beloved sons and daughters. And Lord God, that if, you are for them and protecting them, Lord God, the end result is always going to be good according to your great and mighty plan. And I also bless, Lord God, just Josh as an individual, as your beloved son, as just a man, that you continue to, Lord God, just to build upon his heart and his heart's desires, that you hear him, Lord God, though he may not have voiced and verbalized all the things on his mind and in his heart and especially his spirit. But we know, Lord God, that you hear. We know that you respond to even the silent cries of his heart. And so, Lord God, would you, Lord God, listen to him? Would you, Lord God, read his thoughts? And would you also write on his heart, Lord God, your words of love, your words of comfort, your words of peace, your words of strength, your words of challenge, your words of encouragement. And Lord God, that he would be blessed in the sense that he is able to experience and acknowledge and, Lord God, really feel that full 100% um, joy and satisfaction that only you can bring. Um, God, may he continue to find, Lord God, joy in even the little things and even the little rewards in his life. And would you, Lord God, start with that small seedling and, Lord God, cause it to grow and continue to be nourished, Lord God, as you water it, as you cause it to, Lord God, be fruitful, and may it be fruitful and multiply and be a blessing, Lord God, in his life and also unto others, that you use him greatly for your kingdom and for your glory. Thank you so much. Continue, Lord God, just to guide his path until we talk again, until like whatever may be, but just may he always have that confidence in knowing that you are always near, that you are Emmanuel, God with us, and that he could always turn to you for himself, for his family, and that you always respond. Thank you so much. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Man,
Amen. Yo.
like and subscribe.
I
Like
don't even
and
worry
subscribe.
about that. What I want, if I want you to close us out with some orbit.
No, 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 no. Just jumping Josh.
Jumping jack. That's worse. All right,
We'll
one,
talk about that
two.
in our second part of our
To
conversation.
be
To be
continued.
continued.
All right, man. You gotta put your girl to sleep. Yo, man. Seriously, it was good talking to you.
All right. Good seeing you too. Stay safe.
COVID 물러가라. All right, stay safe, man. Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.